Hello and welcome to today's video. Today, an Inky Minutes review. And the ink we're looking at is this. This is Endless Alchemy's Mocha Mousse Delight. So Mocha Mousse is the Pantone color for 2025. And a range of companies have made products to, show this color, as they always kind of do. And this is Endless's take for an ink. I think it's a really nice sort of mid-brown. I will show I'll show a photo of this color corrected as close as I can get it to what I'm actually seeing in person alongside the Pantone color here. So you can see that it's not an exact match. And then also I have this ballpoint pen here from Keiko where the body is Mocha Mousse Pantone, which it matches fairly well, and you can see once again it's not exactly a match. I'll show some color comparisons to other inks a little later, but this is it on a coloring card. I think it's regardless of whether it matches the Pantone perfectly, I think it's a beautiful ink color. So let's have a look at the bottle, and then we'll have a look at it on some different kinds of paper. So the Endless Alchemy inks come beautifully packaged. It's very hard to photograph because it's a really shiny box with lots of holographic sort of stuff going on, but you can see there Mocha Mousse Delight, and then let's have a look at the bottle. It comes with a swatch card, which I haven't done any of these Alchemy swatch cards, but it's good to see nicely packaged in this foam. And then you can see that the bottom of the bottle has this little like bubble on it, so it doesn't actually sit sort of perfectly flat there, but you are provided with this cork stand which it sits in really nicely, which makes a great way of presenting it sort of on your desk, but also a practical way of using this bottle without it sort of tipping over. The bottle says Endless there on the front top, and then Alchemy on the side here, and it's a 45 ml bottle. You can see here on the label, it also says with coffee aroma. I just want to take a quick second just to talk about that. A lot of scented inks are quite heavily scented. This is a very mild scent. It's not overpowering out of the bottle. It's definitely not overpowering in the pen. And once the ink is dry, you can no longer smell it. The smell is subtle. It's got a very sort of slight sort of a coffee, almost sort of chocolatey kind of smell, but it is nothing as strong as, say, the KWZ smells like coffee ink or anything like that. Much more subtle. Just another little thing on the packaging I thought I'd quickly show is it says color brown, sheen, no, shading, medium, and this is suitable for fountain pens and dip pens. Periodically flush your fountain pen with clean water to remove residual ink. Our ink is formulated to be gentle on nibs, preserving the delicate components of your fountain pen and extending its lifespan. So good information. Designed in Madras, made in India, Endless being an Indian company. Okay, let's look at it now on paper. Here is 52 GSM original old stock Tomo River paper. Endless Alchemy Mocha Mousse Delight. Nice brown there, nice shading. I had it in two pens, the And Hand Aspect in an extra fine nib and the Twisby Eco with a medium nib. You can see very different nib widths, but the performance remains the same. You can see in the writing there's nice little hits of shading, and so there's no sheen. It's just a nice sort of mid-brown, leaning with, like, I suppose a slight sort of maybe green kind of undertone here. Water resistance, not perfect, but passable. And in terms of the cost, it's $20 or $39.95 Australian for that 45 ml bottle. So not a super inexpensive ink, but a beautiful bottle, nicely presented, all that kind of stuff, and actually an ink that performs pretty well. If we look at the reverse, nothing has come through from the writing, of course, from that on this Tomo River paper. The swatch has sort of come through a little bit, but the writing has performed well indeed. On some lower end paper here is the student notepad from, this is a Spyrex notepad. You can see the color is a little more washed out here. It's not super like shady or anything like that. It kind of does okay. The lines don't feather too much, which is good, but neither of these pens is, like a super gusher. On the reverse, I would say on this paper, this is passable. You can see other inks here have definitely performed worse, but I think this is passable on this paper. And then here on the office copy paper, once again, the color is still that sort of washed out. I could not spell mousse there to save my life. 3 S's, very interesting. Once again, lines hold okay. It's not the best looking ink on this paper, but when these get sort of washed out. But once again, the performance is passable. If you needed to use it on this paper, you know, there are certainly worse inks. And then here it is on Rhodia. Once again, you can see the swatch looks really nice. The water resistance test, it takes up a lot of the ink, you know, like there's not a whole lot sort of left there, but the lines look good. There's nice shading. You can see it's relatively sort of wet. It's definitely it's not a wet ink, but it's definitely not a dry ink. And the reverse of this, nothing has come through in the writing except for where I laid down like a double line here on the little squiggle, and then a bit from the swatch. But in everyday writing from those two pens, it's performing pretty well indeed. It's a nice looking ink. I think those sort of reddy, orangey sort of browns that have this sort of earthier tone are really interesting. I'll show a quick color comparison with a few others in just a second. But I think on papers like Rhodia, Tomoe River, Midori, this ink is going to look really nice. Okay, color comparison time. There is the original Endless Alchemy Mocha Mousse Delight. My other Mocha Mousse ink that I have here is from Ostrich. This is bought off, I think, AliExpress. You can see there's a whole lot more green there, and neither is really matching that Keiko version of the color there. Other inks I wanted to show, I've got a few here. So firstly, I want to show it alongside Lamy Sepia, which runs a little more red. Then we've got Van Diemen's ink Pole Prediction Allspice, which shares some real similarities in the midtones. Like they are, in the midtones, they're almost inseparable, but once you get to the lighter tones, Mocha Mousse is a little more red and it's a little darker in the dark shading. It's definitely more brown and less orangey red than Diamine 150th Terracotta. It once again shares some similarities with SBRE Brown, which is the Diamine made Ackerman ink. And then once again, midtones with Octopus Fluids Baroque 1920 Charleston. So it's an interesting ink. There's lots of inks in this sort of color family, but this is a really nice one. And while I think the name, the intention of the ink in terms of its color doesn't quite line up, I think it's a beautiful ink and a great color nonetheless. So this was Mocha Mousse Delight from the Alchemy ink line by Endless. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, I would really love to hear from you. Support makes this channel possible. A big thank you to Endless for providing this and a couple of other products I've been able to review recently. I really enjoy the brand. I like what they do, and this ink is fabulous. So a big thank you to them. In the meantime, enjoy your inks, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.